course, speaking to you now, you can probably guess how it went. My first sense of failure came as my ability to think returned, and I realised I was still sitting in the machine. Had it worked, had I been the version of myself that got to go back, I'd simply be in my younger body 2.5 years earlier. Yet there I was, dumbfounded, confused, suddenly uncomfortable with myself, standing in the machine's chamber, the world around me completely as it had been. Those feelings I mentioned before, the depression, the pessimism, the nihilism, a reaction to losing all sense of uniqueness and individuality, well, they all hit me hard and fast. Like most, I spent some time wallowing in this intense misery, this newfound view of the universe, and that I wasn't important in it. This version of me, at least. Another version of me was the most important being in that respective universe, wherever that may be. But that only made things worse. This universe, this place that I was forced to continue living in, wasn't and isn't my universe. Here, I'm nothing, no one, just like everyone else. Once I managed to climb out of the post-failed travel depression, or perhaps as a means of doing so, I shifted my attention to trying to understand why. I spent my entire life thinking of myself as so important, the most important thing in existence, and I don't mean in a selfish, superior sort of way, just in the way that we all naturally do. After all, your consciousness, your personal perspective is the only thing you can ever really know and be certain of. So this personal, individual vantage point inevitably makes you think of yourself and your own experience as the most important, until the machine doesn't work for you. Afterwards, most people try to just move on, knowing that some other version of themselves gets to redo this portion of their lives. Most people will never be the same, never again feel that very human sense of proud individuality. And that was all true for me too. I wasn't satisfied with that solution. I tried to move on, tried to return to my routine life, but I found myself losing interest in everything around me. All I could think about was the other me, the younger, or technically the same age me, reliving my life, the life that I deserved to relive and fix and exploit. But here I was, stuck in some other universe that just wasn't mine, that never had and never would be. Instead of growing complacent and embracing the monotony and trying to forget, I got angry. This wasn't fair. Why did I have this gift of consciousness, of being so sure of my uniqueness, my individuality, my own special perspective, if I would be forced to stay in this world where, ultimately, none of that mattered? Why had my cosmic unimportance been decided for me? These weren't questions I expected to receive answers for, but I did know one thing. There had to be others who felt the same, who tried and failed to go back, gaining only an unsatisfied rage at their lack of individuality. I wasn't content to accept this truth, this reality that wasn't mine, and I knew I couldn't be alone. I knew you, all of you watching, reading or listening to this, I knew you were out there. Fueled by this anger, I took to the quickest method of finding people who felt the same way as I did: the internet and social media. Every day I spoke of this message, this perspective on consciousness and individuality, and expressed my discontent with all of its implications. This began as simple angry rants that provided no real solutions or suggestions, but as more of you began to flock towards my words, proving that you felt the same, I knew I had to think of a way to overcome these feelings, solve this issue, rather than simply explaining it to those who already understood it. And that's when I shifted the focus of my message. As proved by our failed attempts to use the machine, we weren't special or unique in this universe. But then, logically, there had to be one single, truly individual person who was. And we were in this person's universe. And we deserved to know who that person was.